Okay, you have your NFL wildcard round power rankings. I'm just going to be ranking every single playoff team. Starting off at number 14, I'm going to have the Houston Texans. I think the Texans are cold going into playoffs. They have not looked good this season. And that Texans offense has regressed big time. CJ Stroud had a sophomore slump. Their offense in general, even with Mixon and Nico Collins back, their offense just really hasn't found the groove that many people thought they would. Texans defense, though, I think is still a quality defense. I think, with their defense, they can make games competitive. But with that offense right now, I can't trust the Texans. I think they're the worst team in the playoffs right now. Number 13, I'm going to have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers, another team that's going into the playoffs really cold. Russ has regressed back to his like almost Denver form. That Steelers offense in general these last 4 weeks against playoff caliber teams, their offense just has not done good. Have not done good. That Steelers defense, like I said previously on my power rankings, they're good, but they're not as good as they have been. That Steelers secondary has been kind of a weakness for them. Their defensive line is still very good, but their secondary could be better. But Steelers, I think it's just they're going into the playoffs with a 4 game losing streak. Their offense has been cold. They have not played good against playoff contending teams. Steelers are number 13. At number 12, a kind of a surprise, I'm going to have the LA Rams. I just don't see what the hype is about. Other than home field advantage for the Rams, I just don't see why people are so hyped up against for this team. Their offense, I know they have Puka, they have Kyron, they have Stafford. Have they done anything in the regular season? Not really. For every Bills game that the Rams have, they have games like the 49ers game. The Rams offense has been so inconsistent. It's crazy. And like I said, even with Puka Kyron back, they really haven't found their stride. To me, they're only slightly better than the Texans offense. Like I just don't see the Rams suddenly heating up in the playoffs. That Rams defense, similar to their offense, is just really inconsistent. They do have their moments, like I said, against the 49ers and a couple other teams, but they do have some very bad games against the Eagles and the Bills. So Rams, I just can't see how people are hyping up the Rams due to all of their inconsistencies. And Stafford has been more of a game manager than a playmaker. So the Rams, I have them at number 12. They just don't look good in the regular season. I know they have the talent, but they just haven't put it together. A lot like the Texans. Number 11, I'm gonna have the Washington Commanders. I like the Commanders a lot, but they are strapped by a rookie quarterback and a offense that's I think too reliant on Jaden Daniels right now. I wish Commanders had a better run game. Brian Robinson hasn't looked the same since coming back from his injury. That Commanders defense, not great, not terrible either, but definitely not a strength or a weakness. But Commanders only this low because I think they're too reliant on Jaden Daniels right now. I know he's really good, especially in the clutch, but I think Commanders are still a piece or two away from true making a threat. At number 10, I'm gonna have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, similar to the Commanders, but with a better quarterback. I think Bucks, they have the talent, especially on offense. Baker Mayfield can light it up. Bucky Irving is good. However, I'm still concerned about Baker Mayfield's turnovers. You can't have those too many turnovers in the playoffs. And that Bucks defense, similar to the Commanders, they have their strengths, but they have their weaknesses as well. So the Bucks at number not 10, and at number 9, I'm gonna have the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix, he's been playing really good, but he's a rookie, and I don't really trust rookies in the playoffs. But Broncos, I think they have more support for Bo Nix than the Bucks or the Commanders. They have a great defense and an all right offensive line. But I think that Broncos defense is significantly better than the Bucks or the Commanders, which is why I have the Broncos above them. Denver might not have the firepower of somebody like the Bucks, but I think their defense makes up for it. Number 8, I'm gonna have the LA Chargers. Just LA Chargers, like I said, all season they don't really have that superstar, but they don't really need it either. Defense is still really good, although I think I am concerned about how well that defense plays against some better offenses. But overall, a good defense overall, both defensive line and secondary. But that Chargers offense, I don't know how much I can trust J.K. Dobbins. But Jim Harbaugh is a very good coach and he knows how to win. At number 7, I'm gonna have the Green Bay Packers. Packers might be frauds. They might not be. I know they're not. They don't play great against their divisional winning opponents. However, um, their losses are against the Lions and the Vikings, which are top tier teams, and they have played well against teams like the Seahawks and the Texans. So, Packers to me, they have a good all right defense. Jordan Love really has to heat it up. But Packers, they're not in the same. I think they're slightly above the Broncos and the Bucks, but below any Super Bowl contenders. Number 6, I'm gonna have the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings, they're not Vikings. I feel like that last game really dropped them a little bit. Sam Darnold had a very bad game, and hopefully that's not a trend because this season he has been great. That Vikings defense is good overall. But the Vikings, that last game against the Lions was really concerning, which probably dropped them. But overall, they have a strong defense and a strong offense. Number 5, I'm gonna have the Kansas City Chiefs. Offense starting to heat up, but still very concerning. Pacheco is starting to heat up. Mahomes is starting to heat up. So is Kelsey. But other than those three, Chiefs don't really have much. Chiefs defense honestly hasn't really been a strength. Their secondary has been kind of picked apart, so they're really only 5 because they know how to win games. Number 4, I'm gonna have the Philadelphia Eagles. Really, the only reason they're on the top 3 is because Jalen Hurts might or might not be back from a concussion, and even if he's back, he's probably gonna be rusty. But Saquon makes that offense go. Offensive line is still really good. Eagles are one of the best defenses. Number 3, I'm gonna have the Buffalo Bills. I like the Bills. I think they're good, but defensive inconsistencies probably keep them from being number 1. Defense has some really good games, some really bad games like against the Rams. But that offense, I think as long as Josh Allen doesn't go superhuman at the right time and doesn't make turnovers, their offense is good. It's one of the best. Number 2, I'm gonna have the Baltimore Ravens. They similar to the Chiefs. They're heating up and they're fixing all of their weaknesses. Their secondary and offensive line isn't that much of a weakness. They have an MVP in Lamar Jackson. Wide receivers are surprisingly not bad, and obviously Derrick Henry. That offense looking really good. And that defense continues to be a strength. But number 1, you have the Detroit Lions. Even with all those defensive injuries, Lions continue to have a great defense. Their offense continues to roll. Nothing is stopping the Lions right now, so I have them at number 1. So there you have my NFL wildcard round power rankings.